All right, hello everyone. We'll continue with the introduction of product management. Today we are going to be talking about product management, and follow that by we will also be talking about the different roles, the responsibilities, and also we will deep dive into product life cycle. All right, so let's begin. So, a basic overview of product management. It's a strategic function. It encapsulates all the rest of the functions like engineering, business, design. And as a product manager, you are responsible for from the time of conception of the product as an idea to the launch and beyond that. So what's happens over here is you're not just in the phase of building the product. You're also looking after launch, how successful your product is. You will start measuring them and try to find out if something is going well, it's not going well, and accordingly you build your product strategies. All right, it also bridges the gap, so it's like an intersection for the business, technology, user experience. We'll discuss more about it in the future courses. All right, so what is product management? Practice of guiding success of a product and leading cross-functional team responsible for improving it. So you will be working with the engineering team, you will be working with the design, sales, marketing, and whatever it takes for you to build the product, you will be focusing on that. You'll be marketing your product. So it involves building a definitive, compelling vision, a product vision. And with that vision, you will start then building product strategies in order to achieve that particular vision. Um, Once you have defined a product strategy, along with it comes the roadmap. What needs to be done? What needs to be built? How would you like to take it to the market? So all product development work will get planned within your roadmap, and this way you can communicate easily to your stakeholders. All right. The key concepts with respect to product management intent over here is we need to be identifying customer problems. We need to be addressing the customer problems. We need to understand the long term vision. We need to define it. We need to create one such that it is a compelling vision so that your stakeholders, your customers, they understand you, they know you. Then customer focus. There is a need for deep diving into the user's behavior, doing a customer obsession, trying to understand the customer as much as possible, right? So you want to focus on the customer, you want to learn about them, you want to discuss them, you need to observe them, and so you accordingly, based on the pain points that you discover, you want to prioritize their needs. Right. Next, the focus is on data-driven decisions. We start making informed decision. We take decisions based on what we learn. Accordingly, we develop newer features or we make changes to our strategy. Next, we have the cross-functional collaboration. We work with diverse teams. Then we continuously keep iterating. We will be working with a scrum team or basically an agile team, and with that we will try to keep making changes, keep learning from the user, keep taking in the feedback, and based on the changes in the market, and accordingly build our product. And finally, the product value, to focus on creating value for the customer for the business. So, what is product management really? Why is it important? So, we want to increase the customer satisfaction. We want to improve the product success by measuring it and making changes to the product so that we're aligning the product to the needs of the market and the customer. We want to have a higher ROI, we want to have a better team alignment, and we want to hit the market as soon as possible. So, what are the key responsibilities of a product manager? You want to define the product vision and the strategy. It's important to align your product vision to the company's vision. It's important to align your product vision with the company's strategy. So you conduct market research, competitive analysis, customer research to identify opportunities. Based on that, you're defining a target audience and their needs. And then finally, craft a clear, compelling product vision, right? Next, we are prioritizing our features based on business value, customer impact, and technical feasibility. Next, we are creating and maintaining a product roadmap that outlines the planned features and releases. And then we communicate these roadmaps to stakeholders and managing the expectation. And once we have the product in the hands of the customer, we keep gathering the feedback. We get the feedback using interviews, we do surveys and usability studies as well. We also write stories as a responsibility of a product manager. You write stories which is then handed over to the development team. There are necessary information in your acceptance criteria, and then necessary specifications also mentioned. You also work with different teams like engineering, design, and marketing team. Also, and the most important here is you have to be monitoring the product performance and making data driven decisions. You want to measure your North Star metric. You want to measure all the necessary product metrics, not really the vanity metrics. You want to measure the most important metrics that matter to you, based on which you can understand what's really going on in your product. How are users behaving? Are users buying my product or my services or not? Right. And you want to also identify, based on these matrices, what areas needs to be improved, what needs to be worked on, what needs to be eliminated altogether. And so we continuously also keep doing A/B testing to validate our hypothesis. Along with that, we manage the product backlog. We keep communicating with our stakeholders, sharing them with the product progress. It can be using the product roadmap itself, or you can make use of Jira to communicate. Gathering feedback from the stakeholders and incorporating it also into the product development team. So we also want to hear from our stakeholders and learn and ensure that we are aligned as a company. And finally, also conducting competitive analysis. So we keep doing that during the discovery phase, and we also continue doing that over the course of the development as well. There are different roles with respect to product management. So we start with associate product manager. It's like an entry level. Then you move into a mid level wherein you're a product manager. There are certain responsibilities. You may not have the entire responsibility of a product. You may be managing a smaller product or a smaller section of a product. You will definitely be doing your research. You will be working with the stakeholders. You will be taking care of your product, but most likely you will not be having a major product that you might be working on. Next comes a senior product manager. So this is he oversees the work of a product manager, or the junior PMs, things like that. That happens, and has more responsibilities than a product manager, where you're looking at profitability as well, and you start measuring your metrics as well. And then comes the product leader. Product leader is like someone who is in the C-suite. Could be a CPO as well. He could be someone who is like a director of product as well. But it is a very important role. Next is a principal product manager, primarily focusing on solving technical problems. This role does. Next is a director or a group product manager. So if you're working on a really big product, really big engagement, at that point of time, director of product will be responsible for all the releases actually which are happening over here. Next is the VP of product. The final one, or who might be responsible. There is VP of product, and as well as there is CPO as well. So VP of product is primarily runs the entire product management function, the structure at the high level. Looking at the role, right, the focus for a product manager is primarily the why. Why are we building this? What problem are we trying to solve? And once we understand that, it's important for us to define what features we need to be building in order to solve the problem. Next, it's important for us to prioritize all the wins, and then finally communicate it. Next, we will focus on the product lifecycle. So once a product is released, right? So you have a ready product and you're taking it to the market. So when that happens, you are basically introducing your product to the market, and at this point of time, the focus at this point of time is to let the market know you are here. So in the process, what happens is your customer base is growing steadily. You may not have achieved the product market fit yet, but you are building your brand at this point of time. People are getting to know you more. You're understanding the pricing, you're understanding the distribution. You may be increasing a couple of distribution channels in order to ensure that the customer base is growing. So there comes a point between the introduction and growth where you seem that you have achieved a product market fit. So at that point of time, you start moving into your growth phase, where the customers who may have entered during the introduction phase, now they will become your voice, they will become your ambassadors, they will start referring you customers, and in the process you will have a exponential growth during this growth phase, right? So you're gaining in profit, there is a demand for your product, and then you will see competitors. Your competitors have now started entering into the market, they have noticed you. Since they have noticed your success, now they would also want to copy your success. uh, Next is the maturity phase. So the period of the growth, it varies from company to company. There can be cases if you're not employed your product strategy well enough, what happens is you will start seeing decline in your sales, and when that happens your maturity phase enters. So there is no definitive period that can be told that this is a 5-year period or 10-year period. You primarily look at your sales, and based on that you can determine how well or are you stagnating or are you growing. Based on that we can make a decision within growth phase or a maturity phase. So at this point of time your sales has started peaking, and your growth has stabilized. There is a market saturation, so you whatever market shares that you had, market share is maintained even now, and there is a definitive need for you to innovate, right? So we want to innovate at this stage so that we can go back to the growth phase. And finally, when from maturity, if we have not done enough innovation, or we have innovated but the market has not accepted our innovation, they don't like it, at that point of time there is a decline in sales, and then we will have to go altogether with a ramp down. Another example of product life cycle, as you can see over here, there is a product development stages there. There is an introduction that happens, and then you see sales jumping, and accordingly, the profits have now started coming in, and then finally it goes down. This sort of gives you an idea with respect to the sales, cost per customer, profit, and competitors, right? So during your introduction phase, that you may not have much of a competitor here. Really, you may not have profits. You may not, the cost per customer will actually be high. Your sales may not be much. In the next phase, when you're in the growth, your now sales is now started showing up. The cost per customer with respect to acquiring them, or the cost with respect to maintaining them, that is actually reducing, which is good thing. And then you have the profits. So your profit has now started growing, and your competitors have now started also picking up. Your competitors have noticed you, so so now that is picking up. And then comes the sales. Sales is now peaking, right? So it has hit a high, and now it will start slowing down. Next is cost per customer, that is reducing, and profits are still going up, but eventually it will come down. And then you have the competitors, they are growing now. There are more competitors, people are now started imitating you. Next is the sales in the decline stage. Sales is down, uh, cost per customer will may eventually go down, and the profits are going down, competitors are going down, right? So these are the different definitions for the product stage. As you can see, you have low sales, high cost, little competition, right? Here we are primarily focusing on the R&D, right? We are trying to create a market and accordingly gather as much feedback as possible. So focus during the introduction stage is primarily for the early adopters. Who are the early adopters? They are primarily your user personas who are potentially going to pay for your services or buy your product, right? So at this stage we primarily invest in marketing so that we can build the necessary amount of awareness, educate the customers, let them know now you've entered the market, and you're available for business. And you want to, based on what they have to share, you would like to gather as much user feedback as possible and accordingly iterate. This is the best time to iterate as much as possible, because you don't want to be doing that when you're actually growing. um, Next, you're in the growth stage, and in the growth stage, you have rapid sales growth. Your competition is increasing, and there is decreasing cost, right? Your market share is also going up over here. You're also improving your product features. You're building brand loyalty. Focus over here is primarily focus on the product differentiation. You want to expand this distribution channels during the growth stage. So maybe from one you might hit 10, from 10 you would want to hit 100 distribution channels, and you want to build a solid loyal base. Then you have the maturity stage. Your sales have now started going down. Your market share is not picking up much anymore. Costs are optimizing, right? Uh, Next is focus on the cost optimization. In this case, you want to differentiate between branding and customer service. You want to introduce new features. You want to see how you can go back to the growth stage when you are in the maturity stage. And then finally, it is the decline. While in the decline, you want to reduce marketing costs, support costs. You want to ensure that whatever profits are left, you still make in somehow, some way, you are profitable, right? As much as there is decline in sales, you will also want to cut down on your human costs, so that you are able to ensure there is some P&L running. All right. So a few examples of the introduction stage. So you have like Tesla Model 3 getting introduced in the market when they were getting introduced. Uh, the next is for Airbnb. They have been growing for quite a while. Whenever they are entering into the new market, they end up in introduction stage and eventually move into the growth stage, right? And then you have Coca-Cola. They have been in maturity stage for years and years together, right? They have been a dominant player for a while. They have dominated the market in spite of tough competition from other competitors like Pepsi, right? Then you have an example from a decline stage. So BlackBerry, a smartphone. So BlackBerry was once upon a time a market leader with respect to business phones, and over a period of time, due to intense competition from Apple and the Android devices, that eroded all the profit that BlackBerry was making, and they eventually lost the market share. Basically, what happened here was they could not innovate in the market. They could not understand the needs of the customer better than their competition, and eventually, uh, nobody was interested in using their services. Finally, we have again a reinvention kind of a stage where a company like Netflix, they started with DVD, and they realized this is it is what it is with respect to that's the best thing they could do. They can do rentals by posting it. But when they saw the revolution of streaming, they jumped onto it, and today they have expanded their services to over 190 countries, and even the user base, the customer base, is over 200 million plus. They have a good competition from Disney Plus, Amazon Prime Video, as well. All right. Then using the PLC for product management, so we can use this for understanding where do we stand, and accordingly we can innovate. For example, take the product from maturity stage to growth stage, or from which is if it is going on from decline stage, we need to figure out ways by which we can innovate and at least bring it back to the maturity stage. With respect to key skills that are needed for to be a successful product manager, it's really important to have the right discovery skills, product discovery skills. Like we can understand the market, do deep research analysis, have good analytical skills. Our technical pros should be up. We should understand technology. We should be in a position to converse with our tech team, have excellent communication skills, keep ensure that stakeholders are well informed about what's really going on, problem solving skills, identify problems, analyze the root cause, use different techniques to narrow down the problem, Then the prioritization skills, trying to understand and prioritize based on the customer value, the customer impact, and the business value. Then empathy, building a customer obsession, trying to understand the user deep, and accordingly, be able to build better products. Leadership skills are also important. You will be working with cross-functional teams, so it's important to have common goals, shared goals. Research skills are also important. So you will be conducting market research or working with the market research team to learn. Next, product management, and there are different roles. So there are project managers, program managers, product marketing manager, business analysts, UX designers, and engineering leads. So these are different roles that you may be working with. All right. With respect to product management and their roles, right? For example, if you want to see differences between them, well, product manager primarily focuses on the what and the why of a product, while project manager primarily focuses on how it needs to be done, when it needs to be done. Right. The schedule is important for them. A product manager primarily owns the product strategy and the roadmap, right? While a product marketing manager, his focus is primarily from a standpoint of go-to-market strategies, how to market the product, how to ensure that the adoption of the product is increasing. Next is product manager versus a business analyst. So while business analyst primarily focuses on documenting the requirement, product managers primarily focus with respect to the strategy, right? And prioritizing, ensuring that you're able to build a massive, we are able to build a good product, compelling a product which is able to solve the problems well. Otherwise, make changes. So there is element of strategy involved over here, prioritization involved over here, making decisions, taking decisions. Thank you very much.